Hi, everybody. My name is Ori, and I'm a technical program manager from Pagoda. And I want to welcome all of you to our first Wallet Standards Working Group meeting, which we're very excited to kick off. So just on the agenda today, first we will do a quick overview on developer governance, which includes our NEP process and working groups. Next, we'll do some brief introductions, as we have a few panelists joining us today. Then we will get into the main discussion, Injected Wallet API, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. Lastly, we will talk about next steps and how you can get involved in developer governance. And if at any point you have questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A button on the screen, and we'll either answer them if they're relevant, or we'll wait till the end. So just to go over developer governance, over the last few months, we've been engaging with the community over this idea of developer governance, which is really about decentralizing NER's development and empowering anyone in the community to contribute to and to participate in influencing the future of the ecosystem. And we've been bucketing developer governance into 3 stages: ideas, voting, and implementation. And I just wanted to quickly highlight them to help contextualize our meeting today. And there's also a talk, which I'm happy to link to, that I gave at NERCon that goes into more detail if you want to learn even more. So let's start with the ideas. So we've introduced NER Enhancement Proposal, NEPs, as a way to enable anyone in the community to submit proposals for improving the protocol or standards. And it's been super exciting to see NEP submissions come in from the community. And we hope to see even more from community groups and individual contributors. And as we've been getting more NEP submissions, we wanted to make sure that we have a way to actually move them forward, to review them, make decisions, and determine the next steps, so that they're not just sitting indefinitely. So that is where the working groups and the voting stage comes in. And the working groups really is a way to help operationalize the review of the NEPs. And the idea is to have multiple working groups, each focusing on a different ecosystem need, and to have subject matter experts in each group who can help create focus and enable us to move faster. So we've already kicked off some working groups previously, the protocol working group and the contract standards. And today, as I mentioned, we're kicking off the wallet standards one. And putting these groups into practice is a gradual approach. It's going to require iteration, flexibility as we learn what works, what doesn't. But as in the future, we hope to introduce more groups and to empower the community to run them. So just to make sure everyone is clear on the rules that are involved, there are 4 key ones. We have author, moderator, reviewer, and approver. The author is the person who writes the proposal, the NEP. The moderator is the person who facilitates the process and helps make sure that NEPs are moving forward. The reviewer, the subject matter experts, is the person who ensures the technical viability of the NEP, kind of reviews that. And then the approver, the working group member, are the ones who make the decision. And the process itself, as outlined in NEP 0001, looks like this. Basically, there are 3 stages: draft, review, and voting, and 2 outcomes: approved and rejected. And all the roles that I just mentioned help move the NEP through the stages and towards the outcome. And a lot of this happens asynchronously on the NEP itself. If you go to the NEP, you will see many comments that relate to this process. But really, when we get to the voting stage, we have a working group meeting like the one today, where we come to discuss the NEP and formalize the decision for voting. And that's exactly what's happening now. We're here to execute this process, look at a proposal that was in the review stage that we want to move to the voting. And so, yeah, our goal is to have the champion, the author, present it to everybody, and then go into the voting decision. So before we jump in, I do want to come back to introductions and kind of give a little bit of an overview of everyone that's here. So let's start with the working group members, and I'd like to hand it over to Cameron.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Name is Cameron Dennis. I've been working at NER Foundation for the last 2 years or so, primarily onboarding a lot of infrastructure projects, helping run the grant program. Essentially, whatever needs to get done was pretty much my job. And now I'm spinning out of NER Foundation to start something new called the Banyan Collective, to build that more bottom-up approach to ecosystem growth, primarily in the United States. So what this means is we run these builder groups. So if you're like a wallet builder, you can connect with all the other wallet builders to identify what NEPs are missing because we do need that necessary line of communication between the ecosystem and the standards bodies. So uniting these groups every 2 weeks or so. So we have a wallet onboarding and payments group, subgroup, custody and recovery subgroup, and mobile and integrations. So if you're a wallet builder, an NFT builder, DAO builder, come get in touch with me. I'm happy to connect you with other builders in the space to identify missing standards. We also organize a ton of meetups, hackathons, essentially anything that people need in order to succeed. If you need audits, let me know. If you need VC referral, let me know. If you need legal incorporation support, let me know. Essentially this like network of support for builders and founders in your ecosystem. So thanks for having me.
Hey, everybody. I'm Daryl Collins. I was hired originally to work on the Near wallet, actually, wallet.near.org's wallet. Worked on that for about a year, and these days I'm broadening scope a little bit across the entire JavaScript ecosystem. So I was involved in the JavaScript SDK design and implementation, and we're in the midst of taking over and kind of transforming the Near API and JS ecosystem into a more modern and consistent API.
Hi guys, Osman. Also working on the wallet for the last year. Worked on wallet migration as well. And now also working on Near API JS, separating that into into mono repos and stuff.
Awesome, thank you all. All right, next we're gonna do a quick introduction of the moderators in the process. So, hey Max.
Oh, hey everyone. So I'm Max. I'm VP of Engineering at Pagoda, which used to be Near Inc. I'm also pretty much the person responsible for Near developer ecosystem growth. So a lot of strategies coming from me and a couple of other people. And in this group, I'm just one of the people who organized this whole format. So I'm not doing much here besides just moderating.
Hey folks, I'm Vlad, aka Frol. You can see me in many of the posts all around the ecosystem. I joined Near, originally Near Inc. Quite early on, and been involved with many of the developer tooling. And I delighted to see that NEP Process is getting on the next step, on the next level of bringing the ecosystem aligned. And yeah, my role here would be just moderating the and helping the wallet centers working group. So you'll see me involved as a moderator on the NEPs, but don't expect me to comment deeply because I rely a lot on this power team that we assembled here. And Ori.
Cool. Hi, I already introduced myself, but yeah, I just wanted to highlight that I'm also playing a moderator role in the process and in standing these meetings. So yeah, please say hi and hope to see you in more meetings and on the NEPs themselves. Cool. So now we're going to hand it over to the author. And this is sort of an interesting case because there was an original author for NEP 370, which was Lewis. And then we had, there's this concept of a champion, which is anyone can take over a NEP. And this is sort of what happened in this case, which is Daryl. So Daryl, back to you, serving as the new champion of this NEP.
Awesome. So I've already introduced myself clearly. I can talk a little bit about Lewis and why this was replaced as some context. Lewis is working as a contractor and he got a new role. So while he did a great job on getting the NEP built to this point, there was a few changes that needed to be made and it was made in a fork. So essentially I've taken it over so that we could maintain it in the main repo. But the genesis of this, definitely the credit goes to Lewis for doing the majority of the hard work and getting all of the text on the page. We just kind of tweaked it according to, indeed, silent claps. We tweaked it according to our feedback that we had gotten from you guys in the community. And at this point, it's ready to get rolled. Cool. So I guess let's step into a little bit of an explanation about what this is. What is the Injected Wallet API? And why is it important? So there's two major things that we kind of boil down to at a very high level that are critical for this NEP. One is that we're going to be defining a set of interfaces that are consistent for all wallets that can be interacted with directly from the DApp context using direct JavaScript calls. Like there's no bridging involved, there's no messaging protocols, there's no browser redirects. This is a spec that is specifically designed to help us with interfacing with basically extension wallets. Those are the ones that we generally have access to via direct JavaScript calls that are installed into the browser. And this will be a consistent API right now. If you haven't worked in the wallet selector code base at all, you wouldn't realize, but there's a fair amount of compatibility glue that exists inside of the wallet selectors plugins for each wallet that kind of provides a compatibility layer. And we're looking to normalize that so that everybody can use consistent APIs. It'll simplify new wallets coming in. This is going to facilitate a long-term goal in the wallet selector of allowing us to make these wallet configurations fully declarative without any kind of moving parts or code, so that we can have the list of wallets be dynamic, so that DApp developers don't need to ship an update to wallet selector in order to show new wallets. So this is kind of the building blocks of a large piece of work moving forward, and also is going to get some immediate benefits for everybody who's implementing into wallet selector or building new wallets. This also, one of the critical things about NEP 408 is that it adds a new concept of when you connect to a wallet, you can return more than one account. And this is something that we had some discussion about in the NEP pull requests. It's a little bit different than the current wallet implementation for Near Wallet or My Near Wallet, and not all wallets will have to support this functionality. They can just return one account if they'd like to. But the goal with allowing this concept of more than one account to be connected via a wallet is to synchronize everything with the Wallet Connect standard. The Bridge Wallet standard has already been merged, which allows people to use Wallet Connect to link their wallets. And we wanted to make it consistent so that regardless as to whether or not you were connecting to an extension-based wallet or using a bridge-based wallet, that the API was similar, that you would get the same kind of data type back from either one, an array of accounts instead of just a single element, and you don't have to do any type checking to work with it. So at a high level, these are the two things that were kind of critical for the 408 requirements. And we at this point have gone through some feedback on the pull request. So we've made some iterations. There were actually some really good suggestions made from the community that we incorporated in the last week or so. So we've got some, we definitely want these to be a collaborative process, and I really have to give props to everybody from the community who provided some feedback and some context on this stuff, because it's better than it would have been without you guys. So thanks for jumping in. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the other benefits that we've got as a result of this. I've mentioned that we standardized the APIs that people are going to use for extension wallets. And the main things that are important about this, as everybody would be aware if you've done any work inside the Near ecosystem, are the concept of signing into a DApp, which uses limited access keys, signing transactions, so standard use case for any wallet, please sign a transaction. And then we added, at community feedback, we've added the ability to detect network support on a wallet as part of this NEP. So a method that will allow you to query a wallet and say, do you support this wallet, this network? Can I switch to testnet? Will there be any accounts, or will this wallet not even function on testnet, for example, if that's the case? That's the basic APIs that we've got here. The one other thing that we've added to this that was also brought about due to community feedback was the ability to compose partial transactions when you're requesting from the wallet. So in particular, we've allowed the account ID to be an optional parameter, which actually aligns with the way that Near Wallet has always worked. Near Wallet, you can provide an account ID, but actually when you land in the wallet, we let you choose a different account ID if you want to, and it gets signed by whatever account the Near Wallet allows the user to choose. So this allows open-ended cases, allowing this API to create basically a partially composed transaction that doesn't yet have an account associated with it. Allows for this basic use case of, I'd like a donate button. I don't want somebody to log in. I'm not running a DApp. They don't need a function call access key, but I do want somebody to be able to donate using their wallet by clicking on this button. And in those cases, we don't know what account somebody's going to use. There's no reason to add a thick layer of Near API JS and a wallet selector and a connect concept. These are going to go into Web 2 apps usually where they just want to link. So that's part of the spec. You can compose transactions through this that don't have an account associated, and then the wallet will do the rest. It'll recompose the actions that were given and add the account that's chosen by the user. One other thing that we added was events, like a concept of event emission. Because this is a injected wallet standard where we have direct access via JavaScript to the running code of the wallet, we can add hooks onto it and call functions on events. We defined a basic event spec. There's only one event right now, which is accounts changed. This synchronizes with the Wallet Connects specification, which has a similar event that is emitted across the Wallet Connect bridge when you choose in a Wallet Connect enabled wallet to change which accounts are exposed to a certain DApp. So we've added that event now. There's only one. This is forward thinking. There could be any number of events in the future. If anybody has any ideas around more events, we should add those to the NEP in the future. But that's the basic scaffolding that 408 adds and the benefits that we're going to get out of it. All right, so next up we have basically just a kind of an overview. I wanted to just make sure that everybody understood how we settled on this functionality and how the journey that we took to get here. So there was some good feedback and discussions, both on the original pull request 370, which Lewis had created, and also then on 408, you guys followed up after we moved it into a new pull request where I could add some functionality. So I just wanted to kind of call those out and point out what we had changed and the whys for these things. The concerns that you guys have brought up in the community were well-founded, and they definitely led to some improvements here. So one of the first thing here was that there was an inversion of control here decided on, where the initial implementation of this WEP was that, or NEP, was that the network selection would actually be driven in an inverted way. The wallet would choose which network was selected to, but actually the DApp also has a concept of awareness of which network it works on. And it was very awkward to have to synchronize these two things. There was no way for a DApp to signal to a wallet which network that it was using directly. So we've added a network ID parameter to the Connect API, which allows the DApp to connect to a wallet and request a specific network will function when it connects. And this also standardizes, or it creates a consistent deterministic interface that somebody can use to connect to that network. So one of the benefits of having this come through as a connect method is I could connect to the wallet twice in theory, or I could connect to two different wallets on two different networks. This opens the door to some cool things like a split screen where you can see the results of your test net on your mainnet accounts next to each other, interact with both, deploy to both, those types of use cases. And it simplifies the understanding for the developer. Now, when a developer calls connect and they pass in a network ID, they can be confident that what they're getting from the wallet is an instance that will work with that network. And somebody can't switch the network in the wallet UI and break the DApp's interaction with that network. Second major thing was that we, from the very beginning, modeled this as two different calls for connecting to a wallet, which kind of diverges from the way that the redirect-based wallet worked with the Near wallet. The redirect-based wallet for Near wallet, when you connected a wallet to a DApp, it had an implicit behavior that it would always sign you in by creating one of those limited access keys. And this is not always ideal. This is not something that with an injected wallet even makes sense in all cases. And it wasn't very forward-thinking, because one of the important things that we're looking to implement in the near future here is the ability to verify account ownership without actually creating a limited access key on the Near account that's signing in to a DApp. So imagine a case where you want to run a forum, you want people to log in with their Near accounts as an identity, but you don't actually want to pollute their account with a limited access key that they're never going to actually use on chain. This new concept of verifying account ownership may happen instead of the sign-in option, where you actually sign in using a limited access key. So by separating the connect action and the sign-in actions, we've future-proofed the API so that when we add verify ownership, you can follow a different path. You can choose to connect to a wallet first and then either verify ownership or sign in. And this also has a benefit of simplifying the error failure modes of the different methods. So when I call connect to a wallet, the only things that can fail are connecting to the wallet and getting a list of accounts. A transaction on the blockchain cannot fail because there is no transaction for connecting to a wallet. Whereas signing in, there's a transaction. So the failure modes of that could be any number of reasons why the transaction might fail. So we're trying to keep these things separately separate so that developers can have an easier time of integrating with these APIs. The third thing is the lack of ability to actually detect whether or not a particular network ID was supported by a wallet. The original NEP just didn't facilitate this at all. It assumed that every wallet would support all networks. I had alluded to this earlier actually in the discussion. We've added a supports network method to the spec that wallets should implement. You give it a network ID, the wallet returns with a Boolean true or false. Should this be connected to, can this be connected to via this wallet? And we've made this an async API. It returns a promise just in case somebody on the wallet side needs to run a little bit of async code before they decide whether or not they support that network. So trying to make sure that we don't have to break that in the future for any reasons, such as, let me do a network request before I decide whether or not that network's supported. All right, we already spoke about the connect method returning an array of accounts after connecting, and I talked earlier about this. The main reasoning for this is to normalize the APIs so that the bridge standard connecting to a bridge wallet and connecting to an injected wallet will work the same way at a high level. You'll get the same kind of data type back from your connect calls, regardless as to whether or not you're connecting through the bridge or via an injected wallet. I anticipate that we may do some, if we can get these close enough, these two specs, that we actually could pull some of this definition up into a third NEP that's shared by both of these. If we can keep these interfaces as close together as possible, then it's going to make it easier for everybody who's implementing these in their wallets. So the main goal here with the connect returning an array of accounts is to make sure that we do support the ability to connect to more than one account at the API level. There's not a requirement that every wallet wallet builder go out and build an interface that lets you select n number of accounts. You can still have your connect UI in your wallet only allow the user to select a single account. The important thing is just that programmatically we're returning that account in an array so that the data type is normalized and consistent. And the last thing that I wanted to bring up, there was some discussion about this. This is ongoing discussion actually, which is where does a key pair live for sign-in requests? And to give some context here, the idea around a sign-in request is that a limited access, a function call access key is generated that allows the DApp to directly interact with the blockchain. So they own the private key and public key. They can immediately sign a transaction from the DApp using that key, submit it directly to the RPC nodes, get the result of that transaction, and then carry on without a wallet being interacted with at all. And this was really important, especially historically, when any kind of wallet interactions required a redirect, a wallet redirect out of your app. By allowing a key pair to exist in the DApp context, we facilitate interruption-free usage. So like if you're playing a game, for example, where when you buy new equipment, it has to be written to the blockchain as state. When you click on, I want this equipment associated with my character, that transaction that updates the state could happen entirely in the background. You wouldn't have to have a wallet pop up or a ledger prompt on your machine going, oh, let me approve this transaction on the ledger 16 times because I just moved 16 pieces of equipment. It's definitely not a scalable solution. So the idea around these key pairs for limited access function call access keys existing in the DApp context is specifically to facilitate these kind of interruption-free interactions. Now, some wallets have chosen another route. So they've actually made the sign-in request keep that key locally inside of the wallet storage. So instead of exposing the full access key or the private key of this limited access key to the DApp, they've actually held it and they've kept it away from the DApp's awareness. And this is something that we generally would recommend against because it goes against the basic concept of being able to submit transactions directly from the DApp. However, if a wallet does implement this type of interaction, we have added to this NEP that we recommend that interactions using that limited access key are confirmation free or at least limited confirmation, because the whole idea around this limited access key is that it shouldn't interrupt the user's interaction with the blockchain. So in a perfect world, these keys should just exist in the DApp. This is how it works normally, is the DApp actually generates this key, and then they request that the key is added by the wallet, and they own that key so they can keep using it. But if a wallet does keep these limited access keys internally, there is a nice benefit, which is you go to your wallet and the key is there, even if you added it, maybe on another machine, depending on how your wallet is built. It's possible that that key might be available for more in more cases. You know, we don't know how you're building a wallet, whether or not you persist these to an external service. So this is something that we've added specific documentation that recommends that these keys are owned by the DApp, so the DApp can submit things. However, we've added guidance for a case where if you choose to own these keys on the wallet side of things, please make sure that you don't interrupt the user's experience. Because if you require a confirmation for every transaction that comes through, then essentially we've kind of eliminated the benefit of this limited access key. The whole purpose of it is to reduce the amount of blockers that users encounter while they're interacting with the DApp that uses transactions on chain. Yep, so that's about it from the high level. So I suppose I believe at this point then we were looking for Ori to take over and walk through
I can jump in. Thank you so much, Daryl, for that comprehensive summary, and really also thank you to everyone that has voiced their concern and thoughts. You know, obviously it is evident that you have taken the time to really look through them, and everyone, and that's great. So before we move on to the next voting stage, I do want to just offer up to the other working group members, to Osman and Cameron, to maybe present any, like, your opinion about this NEP, and if there's any other concern that maybe was not mentioned. Yeah, Cameron, do you want to go first?
Yeah, to me, this is pretty straightforward. There's a lot more wallets building. An injective wallet standard is really just almost a prerequisite to help ensure the security across every injected wallet on here. And it just seems like a pretty important, like, beginning piece of this growing ecosystem. So also, I mean, it tremendously helps. I use many wallets. I would benefit from this directly. I've been prompted many times to open up accounts or log into accounts with wallets that if I'm already logged into account, it's just not a clear user experience. So hopefully this will streamline that. And it also just kind of aligns with the general onboarding experience for Ethereum users, with, you know, that being prompted, and especially with many different types of wallets on your being browser based as well. It just seems to be a pretty straightforward, thing for the ecosystem. So yeah, it's an approval by me. I've talked to a lot of wallet builders on Near. This will make their lives much easier, get them to focus on the things that actually make them different from one another. And yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen many big issues with this proposal. So it's an overwhelming yes for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Cameron. What about you, Osman?
Yeah, I think we had like a lot of discussion on the PR itself. There was some stuff with the interface as well that was really good about like signing transactions and stuff. So like not having the dApps have to construct the whole transaction on their side, and instead just providing like a list of actions. An optional signer ID was also really like partially constructing the transaction, as Daryl covered. So yeah, I think it's like a big yes from me. Like it's very useful for dApps to be able to easily interact with wallets.
Very cool. Okay. Well, I think that leads us pretty smoothly into the voting stage. You know, we need 2/3 majority to move forward, and I already heard just verbally that we're leaning in that case. But I'd like maybe an official working group member to maybe present the decision, just so that we have that. So maybe Daryl, do you want to?
Yeah. So my vote also would be to definitely merge this, as everybody can probably tell, since I took this over and kind of shepherded it the last mile, so to speak. So we've got a yes from Osman, and we've also got a yes from Cameron. This is definitely going to improve things and give some clarity for folks that are building you know, a lot of folks that are building the wallet sadly are looking at existing other wallets and trying to kind of stumble their way through how these APIs should work. So I think having a centralized document for this, you know, this is one of these cases where centralization is really helpful. I know one place to go to find out how all of this stuff should work. So at this point, we've got kind of a quorum here. Everybody is happy to get this merged. I think this one's going to go into approved.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, we will definitely formalize the decision on the NEP itself right after this meeting, and we'll also share it out in our social channels and the developer governance website, just so that others can learn about it. But yeah, that's pretty exciting. So I think also just to talk about next steps and implementation considerations, I do want to move over to the next slide over here. And yeah, Daryl, were you going to speak to this one as well?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So until this week, the implementation for this was relatively done, actually. There was already kind of code inside Wallet Selector that would implement these APIs. But now that we've added a couple of things, there's definitely some implementation to be done. Wallet Selector currently is kind of the entry point for all DApp development in the Near ecosystem because of the fact that it connects to any number of wallets. So we're going to go in and add top-level accessors for the new features, like is supported network, for example, should have a method that is passed through via the Wallet Selector interface that returns that result for the wallet that's currently connected, those types of things. And we have sprint planning on Monday morning. So right now it's Friday, just for anybody who's watching this later. So we're talking about 3 days from now. We have a sprint planning where I think that we're going to have resources who can step into Wallet Selector and add those accessors so that if anybody does implement these APIs, the new ones that we just decided on earlier this week, Wallet Selector will expose those upstream. And if a wallet has not implemented those APIs, we'll decide on some what that behavior should be in Wallet Selector. Should throw an error, just return false. We'll put that up in a PR, and I will actually loop the folks in who had added some comments on the pull requests for 408 and for 370, so that we can just make sure that everybody agrees on the behaviors there inside the Wallet Selector, since that's kind of the gateway to the wallets of the ecosystem right now. We want to make sure that everybody agrees about how those cases should be handled for a wallet that hasn't implemented that part of the NEP.
And just like a quick comment here, that in terms of the implementation, pretty much anyone can volunteer to or like propose to implement some the agreed proposal, either for free or even propose some kind of compensation that you expect to receive. This is generally applied to not just even this work group, but any work group.
Oh, that's a great call out. That's super awesome. Anybody want to do this work? We'll see.
I think Cameron is connected with a lot of the wallet standards community groups, and so we could definitely follow up with them as well after. So,
yep. And then now that this is merged, also I'll do some reaching out for anybody who's already got a wallet. So now that we have a standard API for this, such as like sign and send transaction or sign transaction, these names of these methods have been normalized. I know that some of the existing wallet code that we use in Wallet Selector has shims to call different methods on wallets. So there will also be some pull requests coming from wallet builders to conform to this API that will update their plugins. There's a plugin for each wallet, essentially, in the Wallet Selector. So those are also PRs that will need to land. These are kind of community PRs from the wallet builders themselves. If you have any methods that don't exactly match up, I think I saw in one of the wallet plugins, there was a method called request sign transaction instead of just sign transaction. So this is an obvious one where now that there's an NEP, that wallet builder will update their wallet. So the name of this method is sign transaction instead of request sign transaction. And then they will need to open a PR to Wallet Selector that then updates our usage inside of that plugin. And this is actually really important because as I alluded to earlier on, our long-term goals here is to have dynamic wallet, the list of wallets that you can choose from to be dynamic without forcing DApp authors to constantly update the Wallet Selector package. And by conforming to these APIs, you are future-proofing your wallet so that when we move to dynamic wallet selection, it will still show up. It can still be interacted with because you've conformed to these APIs. So if I have any advice for anybody who's a wallet builder here, it's definitely don't let this one fall behind, or you might be surprised when we go to migrate to dynamic wallet selection. We have, hey, now we can show up to 60 wallets or something like that dynamically without the DApp author having to publish out new code. We don't want your wallet to be left behind, and you right now have all the context for what needs to happen. So the minimal amount of effort is to do it while it's fresh in your mind, and you're not looking at reviewing all this stuff like 3 months down the road or whenever we get to this dynamic wallet selection.
Awesomeness. Cool. I see a bunch of thumbs up and some fire emojis in the background, so that's great. Yeah, I guess I'd like to move on to Q&A, open it up. If anyone has any thoughts, questions they'd like to add, I'll give everyone a minute or so, and then we can move on to the next step. Is that a question, Shot? Anything that works for Wallet Connector? Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, actually, Shot, if you take a look in the wallet selector code base, the wallet selector package actually has support for Wallet Connect at the API level. So there's even a proof of concept for Wallet Connect. POC was actually built by the same fellow who opened this PR, the original PR for this NEP 370. And there actually is a bridge standard that was already published in the NEP repo that was actually built for that purpose, to define compatibility with Wallet Connect and APIs that follow the Wallet Connect standard. So you can see that standard in the NEPs. I'll just put a link. Actually, it's in standards in the NEPs repo. I'll put a link in the chat right now that just goes to that wallet documentation. Here's the actual bridge wallet. This was brought about before we had these working groups. So if you have any feedback on this standard, feel free to bring these up. There's nothing is set in stone. I don't think that anybody has fully implemented a Wallet Connect compatible wallet yet. I don't think there's one live yet. So by all means, if you want to use Wallet Connect, try it, implement, go forth and build. And if you have any problems, just let us know. The wallet selector code base is where the plugin all exists. And that is, of course, right here. I'll put that in the chat as well. And you can see right inside of that directory that I linked to you, there's a Wallet Connect folder that has the Wallet Connect proof of concept. So that is definitely something that we want to support. I know that at least one wallet is working on building something that uses that API, and I haven't heard from them. They haven't reported any major issues with it. But I do want to give you just a little bit of a disclaimer there that because as far as I know, nobody has end-to-end implemented this yet. You might have feedback on it, and should be totally reasonable if you do. Let us know.
All right, so we did have a couple of questions come up in the Q&A. Maybe we just take them one at a time. So the first one is from Paul, and the question is, for future dynamic use, could metadata such as icons and name, etc., be placed on this injected interface as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the dynamic usage, actually, one of the biggest problems that we have that we're looking to solve that is kind of tied to this piece of work is new wallets. When we want to have a new wallet join in, we have this default wallets package that people apply to have their wallet added to. Right now, they're kind of self-attesting that they've done some basic security auditing of their own code and have followed best practices. I believe that in the long term, in my mind at least, the perfect solution for this would be a DAO where actually the wallets that are able to be displayed, the list of wallets exists on chain and is queried by wallet selector using a view function call against the blockchain. And then it pulls back some JSON that describes how that wallet works. And that's it, we're done. And now when a new wallet builder comes in, right now we got a bit of a clunky process for these reviews. We're opening pull requests for each wallet that we add. It would be great if there was not a pull request for each wallet, and instead people voted on a DAO using an app that we built that allows you to vote. And when a wallet has been voted to be supported by the list of wallet selector wallets, then it just gets added to the response that you get when you call that view function saying, give me a list of currently supported wallets or default wallets. So metadata for icons and name, I believe that stuff in the long term will absolutely be part of this API, and it will be I don't know if it'll go in this NEP. Like it feels to me like that could be its own NEP because of the fact that it's got this persistence onto the chain. We're gonna have to kind of deal with the schema there. But that is definitely what we're looking at, is defining these things in a declarative way. It will absolutely include something like icons. I was actually just talking to Jane earlier this week actually about, hey, could we include an icon set and allow people to just give us a string, which is what icon name would it be? And we could have that be part of the dynamic information.
All right. The next question is from Leon. Will this affect Wallet Connect methods? Our wallet, OptiWallet, has supported Wallet Connect currently.
Awesome. So this NEP is different than the Bridge Wallet. So there is a Bridge Wallet standard that has already been landed. And I linked that in the chat. Maybe I linked it before you even sent this message. I'll put it in there again, just to make sure that it's at the top. So the Bridge Wallet standard does describe the interface for something that uses Wallet Connect, and then the implementation that you've linked to here. So the wallet selector, yeah, that implementation for the near methods, that is absolutely that is what we've decided on for our custom near interfaces. So Wallet Connect 2.0 supports the definition of blockchain specific methods. So you can define your own methods for each chain that it supports. Wallet Connect 1.0 was all Ethereum specific. 2.0 allows us to define these methods. So the link that you just gave me there, Leon, is indeed the near specific methods that we've added, that we've defined for the Wallet Connect standard.
Great, thank you, Daryl. Are there any other questions? Okay, I don't see any, so I think we're gonna move on. So the last thing I just wanted to cover is how to get involved. Well, first of all, thank you all for being here. That's a great way to get involved, just to kind of be part of the working groups, see what's going on. But there are even more ways to get involved that I wanted to highlight. So if you already have a specific idea in mind for something that you want, to propose, we highly encourage you to author a NEP and submit one, or to join existing working group calls like the one we have today. If you don't know what you want to build, another great way to get involved is to join other community groups, which are basically groups of people from the community that meet on a shared topic of interest, from a specific idea to a concern or a passion. Cameron has been involved with like 3 different community groups for Wallet. So if you're not aware of them, please check them out on the Near Governance forum website. And I'm sure Cameron can show some links as well, or if he wants to speak to it, he can.
Yep, real quick. So there's a calendar that you can join. And so every single subgroup meeting and, general wallet group meeting, these like community groups, builder groups, they're essentially places for, the builders to get together to identify the missing NEPs and strategize a plan of attack. Like, how do we actually prioritize which NEPs to go forward with? Keep in mind that there are many verticals in this industry, and so wallets are one of them, but by far one of the most important. So I dropped the calendar in the chat here. So if you want to sign up for that, you'll be able just to see every time that we meet. Next Tuesday, we're having our general wallet builder meeting. That's next Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Central Time, so 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and please come. This is where we'll be talking about the progress that we're making with a potential auditing program, as well as the wallet transition from wallet.near.org to, every other wallet out there. So that's going to be the meeting where we keep everyone up to date. And we also have a very active Telegram where you can join and ask questions about pending NEPs, as well as just like what fiat on-ramps you are native to Near, what kind of custody solutions are available. Essentially anything wallet related can go into that chat. So please get involved. We're here for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I've been attending some of those calls, and it's been really great to just hear ideas, and again, really hope that we get these ideas and turn them into NEPs and future improvements. So Yeah, and you can also start your own community groups, and all the information is available on near.org/developer governance. And as Max mentioned, also, if you're interested in implementation, we do have a form on that website that you can fill out and let us know. And we will also post the recording from today on that website, as well as future meetings as well. So I just want to give one more thank you to everyone that has been involved, especially the author, the original author, Lewis, who spent a lot of time thinking about this NEP, and of course to Daryl, who helped kind of champion and take it over the finish line. The working group members, Cameron, Daryl, Osman, the moderators, and everyone from the community who has participated. So really excited to have this first wallet standards NEP approved, and excited to decentralize the development of Near together in more working group meetings soon. So cool. Well, I think that covers it for today. I want to wish everybody a great weekend, and thank you all again so much. Take care.